What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Welcome to Sportsbook Review. This is Betting with the Bag, and man, did last night hurt. Did last night hurt badly. Within about an hour, even though I hit the first five in the Red Sox, Giants under, lost the full game. While that was happening, the Jays put up 6 runs in the 9th inning, and I get destroyed in MLB baseball. Worst day I've had in MLB baseball in 3 months. And it hurts. But, guys like Jin Rummy and Russell Gordy who talk about dogs. Yesterday, underdogs went 8-5 in MLB plus 8.25 units. Those of you who had the balls take the Angels, which I did not. I stayed off that game. 8-5 plus 8.25 units. Dogs in MLB baseball last night. And this is the month for them. Very, very disappointing night for me. The Orioles one hurt so much. I had to leave my residence and go for a walk, which I'm not supposed to do alone in Costa Rica at night, but I made it without getting robbed. Oh, man, did it hurt. But we have a big Thursday today. Let's stay focused. We got Thursday night football. We also have Houston-Tulane. I'm already in on both of those, but I'm still, as square as it sounds, thinking of adding the Titans to my card. I am on the team total under 19.5 in the Jaguars game. We're going to talk about that with Bobo Bono and Teddy Covers. I'm on the over 55.5 with Houston and Tulane. That was one of the rare situations where you play the market like a fiddle. Opens at 60, goes down to 55.5. Think that's too low. Jump on the over with Big Boss, and now it's back up to 57 or 58. Very, very disappointing night yesterday. It's nice to be back with you guys, though. It gives me some hope. Nasty Nate, first to the party. Great hustle, Nasty Nate. Nasty Nate also 81st in the Pick 6 contest. That's out of 2,100 people. Pick 6 contest. Remember, if you are not in the Pick 6 contest, there is still time. If you enter right now, you are still eligible for all of the prizes, all $50,000 prizes available. Here we go. Copy and paste that right now. Here is the link to the contest. Right now, jump in. Also, we are now a podcast. Listen to us on iTunes or wherever podcasts can be found. Shout out to Nasty Nate. We got Jay Garcon, Marcellus Wallace in the house. Jay Garcon said, I bet 80 on Miami, St. Louis, first inning, no score. Cash that, took what I want and bet it back. Bet it back and lost all. Damn, okay, that hurts. It was a tough day yesterday. Lock City says, in the building. Nice to see you, Lock City. Says baseball real spooky right now. I would like to focus on football badly. Baseball is hurting me badly. Matt Randall announced a Taint 8 yesterday. Great bet on the Taint. When you hear Gin Rummy and Taint play today come together, that's probably a spot where we should have jumped on it. Great job from both you guys. This is from Matt Randall. So hopefully you tailed that plus 125. It was the Royals plus 1.5. Those of you who are also on the KC money line for the huge score, well, that is the life of betting. KC had multiple opportunities to win that game. Shout out to our Matt Randall. We have Allison in the house. Carlos Perot. Just hope my Nationals don't choke this wild card lead up. I'd be surprised if they choke it up. I really would. But it's the Brew Crew they have to worry about. I'd also be shocked if the Cubs can beat the Cards 5 out of these 7 games. They played each other 7 times over the last 10 games of the year. And Eric Nisbet on Tulane Green Wave -5. Lay it and play it. Gear says so much for the 4-1 on Mr. Money. I haven't looked at the morning line. What did the morning line say on Mr. Money? I guess we are getting that gorgeous 4-1 because of maximum security being in the race. Mr. Money likes to be on or near the lead, and that was going to be difficult with maximum security. So I guess with him out, he's going to have the pace to dictate to his own self, and that's why he's become a favorite. What's he at now, Guillermo? I'd love to hear. Jermel, right, ready to rock and roll. We got Jansen. We got DJ Big Boss. DJ Big Boss, Big Ragu, and I did the big Pick 6 show last night. Broke down NFL and NCAA football. I had a great time doing it. Check it out. Sportsbook Review, YouTube. You can find it. The live Pick 6 show with my guys, the Boss and the Sauce. Jonice has got to limit my games going on too many games last 2 days, minus units. I hear that. There's Jimmy Gomez, past winner of the Vegas Gun Award for capping. Excellent. There's Joey Avang, Bookie Lover Q. Dav Fence had killed with those and Cubs. Oh, man. I mean, I added the Cubs late going against Russell Gordy. which I probably shouldn't do. I'm still fine there. It was that Orioles loss that just crushed me. Had them on the -1.5 reverse run line as well, and that hurt bad. Eric Nisbet, Bills -6, Ravens +7, and Colts +1 NFL plays. I'm going against you. I think Chiefs smash. At home. There's Raymond Reichart in the house. Eric Jones. Paco Healy has been grinding extra shifts, tuning in from work. It's the bright spot in my morning. Paco Healy, much love to you. Paco Healy doing very important. Some people have jobs that help the world. Paco Healy is one of those in an ambulance. Looking after the world is Paco Healy in San Diego. Much love to you, Paco Healy. Neil Money, Alec Holligan in the house. Jags money line tonight. A lot of people are on the Jags. That might be enough to keep me off the Titans and just focus on the under 19.5 on the Jags. Top sets that I've turned my MLB record around, betting 1 to 2 plays only. I wish I should. Jin Rummy says you guys are screwed with favorites. Screwed. Says MLB favorites 5 and 8 minus 9.44 units if you lay to win 1 unit at Pinnacle closing line. 5 and 8. Wow. Unbelievable. Don Ricci, Mets are waiting in the wings. We got Reds, Marlins next. Conor Green said, love the taint. That bet too. There's Shadow in the house. I'm glad I'm limiting baseball plays to the 14 parlay yesterday. Great work. There's Joe Stacks, Joe Rich Ramirez, Alex, the Henderson Hustler in the house. We got Red Girl, Donkey Capping in the house. Guru Sports Bet says I did give Giants raising cards. So nice work. Nice work, Guru. Nice work. It was the Giants team total over. Nutflush Island comes in and drops it late, so I should have just jumped on it, but it didn't go with my first 500 and full game under. Oh, very disappointing. Buzzo TV, Ian Jackson, Leroy Flood, Jansen Bonson said, I better get a move on this pick 6 being struggling. Jansen Bonson came second last year, cashed 4 G's off of it. Red Girl Sparks full game under book it, says Red Girl. I'm going to copy and paste that. We have the WNBA playoffs. Okay, so we have a huge show. In 7 minutes, we're going to be joined by Parlay Papi. He was great yesterday. Parlay Papi was great yesterday. He did not get affected by what happened in MLB in a negative way. Don Ricci hit the under in the Mets game. It was nice to see the Mets cash for us. Jamel Wright said, I took Giants plus 145 last night. Cash, no Orioles full game over. Great job. And there's Taryn Russell said, I hit the Charlotte Hurricanes. Carolina Hurricanes, puck line at plus 218. Thank you, Taryn Russell. And Red Girl 6-1 yesterday. Man, okay. American, his first puck line of the season. Flames -1.5 plus 180, baby. They're going to be an interesting look moving forward. Here we go. Matt Randall, Tate play of the day. Boston, San Francisco under 8.5. Mad Bum and Rodriguez have both been pitching very nicely over the last 2 starts. No JD, no Mookie. Under 8.5 is the taint for Matt Randall. There's David Manoah, says 3 a.m. here in New Zealand. Got to watch the show. David Manoah, that's hustle right there. Respect, David Manoah. Thank you so much for jumping in. And Stephen Mraz, like in Atlanta, Philadelphia. Okay, let's copy and paste this. And copy and paste that. Okay, here we go. All right, we got a lot of work. There's Yu Chang Yu in the house. If anybody can get me out of the slump, it's Yu Chang Yu. Noli knows also on that Philly, Atlanta under 8. Going to copy and paste that. Okay, we only have 8 or 9 games, to go through, but we don't have a ton of time. So let's start making our moves right now. And Ben Sports 24/7 says, with Titans and Jags defense game has to go under. Well, I just know that the Jags should score under 19.5 points, so that's my big move. Walla Dose in the house. YMW says Braves book it. Dom Ricci, Mets full game and under from Dom Ricci. Got to copy and paste that, Dom. Our New York Mets expert in the house. There we go. AM says Parlay Papi, always great, Jimmy. He looked good yesterday. Shadow going the other way. Tennessee, Jacksonville over 39. I'm going to need that to hit because of the Titans. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit because of the Titans. Okay, let's get to work right now. And let's take a quick look at what Papi is going to be dealing with, because I do not want to be backing. We don't have time to cap these games twice. So let's see what Papi is on right now and then make decisions, because we only have 5 minutes before he jumps on the show. Let's get after it on this Thursday morning right now. Big late show Flash joining us live. Flash had a nice look on NFL so far this year. We also have Anna Merrick, Maximus in 3D. We have Clint in the house. We have Anna Merrick joining us, busting out the UFC card for tonight. All right, let's take a quick look at what we are dealing with from Parlay Papi. He's looking at the Brewers, Padres, and Cubs, Cardinals, and we have afternoon baseball. Let's get after it. Phillies, Braves, 74 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 12 miles per hour in. Phillies 35 and 37 on the road. Have won 10 of 18 games against Atlanta this year, and they're going for a surprising sweep, although the Braves have little to play for. Phillies now sit 3 back of the Cubs, and Brewers still have a bit of hope. Conor Grady says, can you ask Teddy about Boston College? Of course I can. In SDSU under. Wow. All right. I'm going to copy and paste all that right now. Copy and paste that. Caleb Jackson, Jacksonville have no offensive weapons. How can they score? Tennessee, tough run defense. I agree, but there's so many people bagging the Jags on the money line and Gardner Minshew. I'm shocked. I'm shocked by it, but it might be enough to keep me off the Titans. But I don't want this vividness or recency bias of, well, two things are at play. Both of them are at play because Titans always hurt me. And then they played so bad last week. Toro Capital in the house. Great to see Toro Capital back rolling with us. Here we go. Copy and paste that. Right now, copy and paste Toro Capital liking no score on the Braves game. A lot of people liking defense in this Braves game and a lack of scoring. Let's look more at what we're dealing with here, and let's look at market moves. Why don't we start with a market move here on this game? Pull up sportsbookreview.com, SBR odds page. Let's take a good look here right now. What are we dealing with? First off, Atlanta opens up a minus 133. They're now minus 146, a 13-cent move towards them. Can they stop the sweep? And Pink Eye Genie says, Jesus, aces plus 10-point dogs again. Yeah, not getting respect. Cambridge and Asia Wilson are not getting respect. I'm going to copy and paste that because that is a huge line. Pink Eye, are you going to back the aces once again? I'd love to know. Jen said, am I missing some of the Chargers? I'm on Houston. Injuries with Chargers. I get it. There's some interesting spots in this NFL card. And tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, we have the Audible Live. This total opened at 8.5, and it was juiced to the over. It's now juiced to the under. There's been a 15-cent move towards the under 8.5 in this spot. Aaron Nola, versus Soroka. Nola 12-5, 3.62 ERA, 1.23 whip. Soroka 12-4, 2.57 ERA, 1.09 whip. Phillies are hitting 242, 739 OPS versus righties. No power. Braves are hitting 259, 791 OPS versus righties. This Nola usually pitches well against the Braves, but he got smacked up last start against them. As we know, Philly's going for the sweep. Nola off a nice start Saturday against the Red Sox. No decision, but 1 run, 7 innings, struck out 9 in a 2-1 Phillies loss. You know what? I still don't trust Nola on the road. I still don't trust him on the road. Joe and Nisi, thank you very much for saying those kind words because it was a very tough evening for me with those MLB losses loading up. And speaking of now, maybe with that very wonderful words Joe and Nisi saying about me, maybe I can put up this horrifying baseball record that I went 3 wins and 8 losses, and I'm almost at my low water mark for the season. Just horrible. Absolutely horrible. Okay. Let's keep rolling along. Cassius Thomas, I've not been following any news, so I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what story you're talking about, Cassius. I've just been wallowing in pity for the last 12 to 15 hours. Ben Sports 24/7 says not confirmed. Ramsey might sit out tonight. You know, that's the reason why I didn't take the full game under, and that's why I focused on the Jags under. But we'll get into that soon. Nola 10-4, 2.66 ERA, 17 career starts against the Braves, 3-1, 4.06 ERA, and 5 starts against the Braves in 2019. Look, I understand why you guys are all on the under. Soroka's pitching very well. I just don't know if I trust Nola here. In fact, I don't know if I really want to fade him and go with Soroka, but I don't trust Nola. Gerald Martinez says Aces' 3rd playoff game in 4 days. Mystic's 2nd game in 11 days. Be some tired legs and flat shots for the Aces tonight. Gerald Martinez, well put. That's exactly the reason why there's another 10 here. So I'm going to move that there. And Book 11 Q says he's playing. Don't know what y'all talking about. And talking about Jalen Ramsey there. All right. Invite Brand B in the house. Okay, so we only got through 1 game, and I've yet to make a move on it. Phillies, Braves. We'll see if Parlay Papi's got to move it. We only have 15 minutes with Parlay Papi, and then we're going to be joined by Babano. So let's get to it right now. Joining us on a rare Thursday appearance from our guy Parlay Papi, who did great work yesterday. I wish I had run with that first inning no score, and that's Cardinals. I wish I had run on that under and Royals, A's. I was not seeing things clearly. Maybe you can help. Parlay Papi, welcome to the show on this Thursday morning, representing Los Angeles, California. How you doing, man?
What's poppin', Jimmy Lowbaggers? What's going on? Oh, my God, an echo in my ear. Jesus Christ.
We can get that fixed. Do you want us to call you back?
No, it went away.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Rafa. Thirsty Thursday, Jimmy. That's what it is. It is Thirsty Thursday. Not thirsty for the booze, thirsty for the bucks, Jimmy the Bag. Let's get on to it.
Let's get on to it, man. Am I getting more and more excited about this season ending, and so we can focus on, or at least I can focus on NHL and NBA. This yesterday hurt, but let's get right after. Let's not wallow in self-pity. Let's get after it right now. First off, do you have a feel on this Phillies-Braves game that we just broke down?
Yeah, I mean, look, Phillies 0-5 in the last 5 starts with NOLA, right? I think that the Phillies are actually very live here. He's just got way too many hits and walks on the road for me to feel comfortable taking NOLA right now. Soroka is showing so much vulnerability at home, and the spot says Atlanta, but I just don't see that side either. I think the only value is with Phillies here. I actually almost would lead an over as well because I think that both these guys are real shaky despite how good they have been. I think an over is the look for me. I'm definitely leaning off this game. I don't know what to do with it.
I don't know what to do with it either. I'm just gonna. I understand winds blowing in, and these guys are capable of nice starts, but I just don't want to trust. I'm the same way as you. I don't want to trust NOLA on the road. Big shout out to Angus Finley says there are 2 watching at 3 a.m. in the morning. Jimmy, maybe we need to discuss the Rugby World Cup kickoff this weekend. I'd love to know what Kyle Jack's doing with the Rugby kickoff. There is a big party here at 2 a.m. Big party. With a bunch of Irish guys that are doing it up for a big 2 a.m. It starts 2 a.m. here, our time that I may be going to because we know the Irish love to drink, and who doesn't want to drink with the Irish? But shout out to you, Angus Finley in the house. Love seeing that. Okay, Jason Kelly on Philly first 5. Corey Simmons in the house. Houston-Tulane over 57. Corey Simmons, you'll be glad to know that I jumped in at 55. And Houston moneyline and Jacksonville +2. There's another guy, Corey Simmons on Jacksonville. Hard for me to take the Titans here. Okay, let's move on to a spot that you do like, Papi. Take it away.
All right, let's look at the Brewers game. Good win for Lament. That's very, very good to see somebody coming off terrible injuries and reconstruction surgery on Tommy John. Like that guy didn't have such a good performance against these Brewers. Here's the thing. I think the Brewers win today, and I think that the first 5 is going under. And the reason why is because the Brewers, 11 of 12, right? Winning 11 of 12 games, despite hitting this poverty 628 OPS. How are they getting it done? They're getting it done with solid pitching. And on the other side, let's look at San Diego as a whole. What the fuck is going on in San Diego? I love the city. I love going there. I love everything about San Diego, but I hate this team. This team cannot get it together. Too much talent, too much poor management. And Manny Machado, right? Speaking of Manny Machado, what a disaster. Get this dude out of Southern California. Too bad no one's going to take that contract. But my point being, who's the only guy that hits our man, Lyles, who is 6-1 in his Milwaukee Blue? He is 6-1 since coming to Milwaukee. He has seen these Padres quite a bit, but let's throw that stuff out. We're talking about today's Padres lineup, not fucking 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Look it up. Look at the stats of who's in the lineup now that's hit him. And guess who? It's only Manny Machado. Manny Machado, who has 2 hits and 18 at-bats. Look at the offense on Padres. There's 0. Zip. Nothing at fucking all to look forward to with these guys getting to play. Nothing exciting. And, I might swallow these words later, but let's look at it like this. Take that Colorado series out of this equation. If the Padres didn't put up 23 runs in those 3 games, they're still only at a 682 OPS with those 3 games. You take those 23 runs out. This is the worst offense in the last 2.5 weeks in baseball, by far worse than the Tigers, worse than anybody. That being said, Lyles is dealing. Lyles has dealt the guys on the Padres before besides Machado. He looks great in Milwaukee. Milwaukee needs to feast on these spots with these teams. And by the way, Milwaukee 5-0 after a loss. After a loss, 5-0. Meaning, after a loss in the last 5 games, the last 5 losses, these guys are 11-12. It's like almost a month-long thing. 5-0 after the loss. They're coming back today. They're going to take this series, not split it with the Padres. So I'm taking the first 5 under 5, and I'm taking the Brewers -1 at -118, Jenny.
Yeah, I get it. Lyles is another guy who's a hit. I mean, is there any pitcher who's been good to me? I don't know if there has been over the last few years, but Lyles is a tricky pitcher. I do not trust him, but he's been very, very good. And he's got great numbers, as you say, against the Padres. Lucchesi has great numbers against the Brewers. I like both of these looks, but this total is going up full game. Let's see if it's going up.
So let's look at it. Let's look at it like this. That's the first thing. Why does it open at 8, stay there for a while, and now go to 9? Let's look at Lucchesi on the road. The guy has a significant disadvantage. 2 wins, 5 losses on the road, a giant 287 batting average, and during the day, he still's got a 270 batting average, 1.35 whip. But look at it like this, 287 average on his road starts, 2-5 on his road starts, and he is elite at home. What does that say? Volatility. Market moves up a little bit. Fuck him. Take Lyles.
I'm going to back you with the Brewers here. And I know, again, this is another spot where Jin Rummy will be shaking his head because not only are we taking a favorite, but we're taking a favorite after a 16-cent line move. But I agree with your breakdown. I agree. The Brewers need to bounce back here. The Padres have no heart. I'm getting a plus 125 on that run line. So I'm going to take them on the -1 line as well. I'm getting a money line of -171, a run line of plus 125, and I'm going to book it and take it. Okay, I'm in. Brewers hit 772 OPS versus lefties. Padres just 712 OPS versus righties. Lyles looked good again in his last start. He keeps looking good. Brewers have only lost twice in the last 13 games. I have no faith in this Padres squad either.
Padres 1-8 in their last 9 road games versus a team with a winning record. Why does that change? Brewers 5-0 after a loss. They need these wins. They need to take advantage of the situation based on the fact the St. Louis Cardinals and the Cubs have 7 fucking games to play. They got to do something here. They got no teams that are winning in the future schedule. They can go through this and lose a couple and be at the top over there. This Cubs and Cardinals spot, which is our next spot, is going to be a dogfight. The Brewers need to get this done to be in that contention, and I think they do it.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Okay, let's move on to your next spot on your card.
All right, I'll break this down just super quick so we can go over a couple more things. St. Louis versus Hendricks. We know Flaherty. He gets hit by these Brewers specifically. He had such a bad, we were just talking about him, and that was his last bad start. The thing is with Flaherty, he has been so good on the road against winning teams, against good teams post All-Star break, really corrected himself. He's still a very young guy. I expect him to be able to handle the workload capacity he has because he is younger, he is fresher, and he doesn't have overwhelming, dominant, crazy stuff that's going to do a lot of taxation on his body mechanics. So I think he's going to do well here. And he's pitched these Cubs very well. Besides that, the only thing that's putting me off the Cardinals itself is the fact they're 40-16, being outscored 40-16 and going 0-6 in Wrigley this year. And also on the Cubs side at Wrigley, where we're at in Chicago, we got Mr. Old Reliable Kyle Hendricks. We love to back this guy at home. And we knew that whenever he was on the road getting it completely annihilated, he was going to regress back to a mean, which he has, meaning the fact is the guy is 6-2 in his last 12 games, including all those road starts. Stellar 1.75 ERA. Greatest thing about that, he has dealt these Cardinals this season so well, 3-0. A .39 ERA, what does that even mean? I don't even know what that means, Jimmy the Bag. It means that we're taking another under. I know it's low at 4. The fact is, if one of these guys gets blown up, it is what it is. But the thing is, I mean, without Baez or Rizzo, that's the catalyst to the offense on the Cubs. And they're not really doing so well, right, after that little surge against Pittsburgh. St. Louis, I don't trust this offense at all. And I think that they're not going to do much in the playoffs if they do get there, due to the fact that you do need a combination of that pitching and the offense to do shit in the World Series. It's a formula that is hard to recreate. The St. Louis doesn't seem like they have it for me. So first 5 under 4, Jimmy, I expect both guys to do some decent work. And if it doesn't work out, I can't say that's a bad cap or mistake. What's the spot say it should go over for what? What's your argument? But that's my look here. First 5 under 4, Jimmy.
I get it, and good on you to get the 4. It's now 3.5s across the board. It moved to 3.5 58 minutes ago at Pinnacle. So great job. That pays to wake up early, and that's what you've done there. Nice work. That's the Cardinals Cubs spot. I agree. Flaherty's been spectacular. Hendricks is someone you can trust at home, but at 3.5, I'm not going to take it. Having the push at 4 is a very nice spot that you're in. Hendricks 8-2, 2.74 ERA and 17 career starts. So what do you think about the Cardinals being 0-6 at Wrigley Field this year? Do you think that the Cubs can get this, or would you rather just expect good
I
pitching.
don't want to lean aside just because I think the bullpens are awash, considering the fact the Cubs bullpen is so much better than it was, right? St. Louis, that Cardinals bullpen, if anything, is a little bit spotty for me right now. So I don't know what the side would be. I think it's a very fair play to pick action if you want to bet. I think this is a coin flip game, and it seems like it's lined that way, Jimmy.
Well, let's. I hear you. I like that you got it at 4. I'm not going to take it at 3.5. Let's talk about the other afternoon games so that we're all, abreast, a titty of the situation. Mariners, Pirates, 72 Fahrenheit clear, 7 miles per hour in. It's Kukuch. What a bum this guy is. 6-10, 5.46 ERA, 1.52 ERA. Musgrove, 10-12, 4.52 ERA, 1.22 WHIP. Now I know the Pirates are left for dead. I was on the Mariners yesterday. But if there's one starting pitcher other than Brault, who's looked terrible, that could actually be a leader in this clubhouse and get them off of this whole Vasquez pedophilia stuff that's going on, it's Musgrove. I really do. He's being louder in the clubhouse. He's getting a lot of respect for leading this team. So now, in saying that, I don't know if I'm going to back him and back the Pirates here. This is just a losing proposition. But Pirates and Musgrove open up minus 137. They're minus 140 now. 3-cent move towards them. This total opened up at 9. It's still at 9. It's been a 1-cent move towards the under. It is juiced to the under. Kikuchi, 5 runs, 10 hits, and 2 in the third innings last start. I mean, he's just been terrible. Pirates have lost 5 straight games by a score of 57-16. They went 21 innings without a run, and we know that they don't hit lefties. So this is a tricky spot. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Mariners, Pirates, Kukuch.
You know, I got to back my boy Coachy just because that's his name, Jimmy. I don't know what to say about this guy. I feel bad. I think he's given up the most home runs. Our Coachy. In rookie MLB history. I mean, this guy is not having a great American welcoming Jimmy the Bag. This guy is getting annihilated. Musgrove, I agree. The guy is just too volatile. Do you want to take him at home and at minus 135 or whatever the line is? No. Do you want to take an over or an under with this game? No, because I expect that if anything, our boy Coachy, if he's going to shut down the lineup, it should be these Pirates hitting left. But I agree for the spot, maybe for the mental morale of the Pirates, maybe they get off. Maybe Musgrove throws a gem. I just have no idea, Jimmy. I don't think that there's anything for me to look at here.
Yeah, there's nothing to trust. You're absolutely right. I mean, how can you have faith in an angle in this game? I agree. I absolutely agree. Okay, let's just move past it here. Musgrove 1-1, 7.50 ERA against Seattle. That was all in 2017. So who cares when he's playing for Houston?
But there's nobody. You know what I mean? Nobody. None of those guys are even on the lineup. Probably 2 or 3 that have hit him. You know.
Let's talk about this taint play of the day. Matt Randall taint play of the day is Giants Red Sox under 8.5. Full game under 8.5. Watching that Red Sox bullpen last night was travesty, man. This Red Sox team's given up. They're playing bad baseball. But it opened at 9, now down to 8.5. Let's see when Pinnacle moved that to. Yeah, opened it at 9. So yesterday, so it moved to 8.5 this morning at 6 our time. So 3.5 hours ago, Costa Rica time. Then it went down all the way down to 8. Went down to 8 for 15 minutes, for 5 minutes. From 9, 10 a.m., so 20 minutes ago for 5 minutes, and then back to 8.5. We do know that Bogarts and Devers are eating, and we also know Rodriguez and Bummy are pitching quite well. Although Bummy's pitching much better at home than he is on the road. Rodriguez has been excellent this year, 3 games away from 20, and Bumgarner's 4 and 3rd innings away from 200 innings, and he wants to get that. What do you think of Matt Randall's taint play of the day, Papi?
Yeah, I mean, the spotty part is the fact that the Boston Red Sox could get to Bumgarner. And also the fact is, we know that Bumgarner is a little bit volatile, to say the least. A 280 batting average on the road, 15 home runs in 80 innings, lack of strikeouts. For this, I don't care what anybody's about to say. These guys are pissed off. They're like, our season is a wash. What a waste of time even being. They might be mad. You know, they might be smashing. Who knows? The thing is, we know Rodriguez is fucking getting gangbanged, but I don't know what this guy does, Jimmy. He's got a morale connection with this clubhouse. They win for him. He really doesn't have that great of stuff. The thing is, Jimmy, what's another weird look here? What did we do yesterday? We did a no run in the first inning, right? So in last 5 starts for each of these guys, there hasn't been a run in the first inning. So if there's a look that that I'm going to take, it's going to be that. I don't trust this Giants bullpen, and I sure as hell don't trust anything about Boston going on. And they actually could be a little bit heated and getting some Viagra on those bats, Jimmy. So I don't know. The only look I would have is that no run in the first inning. I could see it going under. I could also see it exploding over. So I was a layoff for me.
It is a layoff for you. Giants, Red Sox. It is a treat to roll with you on this Thursday morning. Thirsty Thursday, as Parlay Papi refers to it as. Parlay Papi, I like your looks on this MLB card. Are you making any moves on this Thursday nighter in football?
Yeah, I think that I want to take. I don't know if Tulane is going to cover. I know they're going to win this game. I would like to take them in a parlay with another game. I believe it's minus 220. I think that's very fair because I actually do think Houston is very live to cover here. Despite that, I do think Tulane definitely pulls it out. As far as the total goes, I don't know. I could really see it going both ways. I could also see Houston not even being able to put up a point, despite how potent that offense can be. So I don't have really too much on the total, but I do like Tulane. I'm gonna do something with that money line, Jimmy.
And what about in the Thursday nighter in the NFL?
I think that we're going to take. I don't know, Jimmy. You tell me, what's our play of the day? What's our play of the day, birthday pick, barbecue sauce, tits, whatever you call it?
Jags team total under 19.5. Jags team total under 19.5. That's I see people on each side, but I like this team total
to not hit, Jimmy. I think that'd be difficult not to hit. That seems like a very good look.
It's my favorite look on the Thursday nighter, and I might just only leave it at that. Parlay Papi, we've got Bobo in the house ready to get to work here on the show, but it is an absolute treat rolling with you on these Thursday mornings, Wednesday mornings, every chance we can get, and great job on the card yesterday. It was a tricky card, and you nailed it. Papi, where can we find you on Twitter, and can you please review your picks?
Yeah, so we're going to do Brewers -1. That's a -118, I believe. Brewers first 5 under 5, and we're also going to do the first 5 under 4 at the Cubs. So you can always find me at Poppy_parlay. I got to get back to the grind, Jimmy. The bag and low baggers. I'm always blessed to be here. Always glad to be here. Love being here, Jimmy. So I will see you guys on the next one. Peace out. Bye-bye.
There he is, Parlay Papi in the house. Rem Mo says, hard to fade that birthday play. It looks solid. Thank you, Rem. I love it. But God, that doesn't equate to cash all the time. Topset says, thanks, Papi. Nice work again. Now, and On Point Wagers says, today's my birthday, and I locked in that Jags under as soon as I woke up. Nice. On Point Wagers. Happy birthday, On Point Wagers. To help celebrate your birthday, we bring in the star of Steeltown, Hamilton, Ontario. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Ian Cameron Bobo. He's leading the way in the SBR personalities in the Pick 6 contest. He's doing nice work, and he's here joining us right now. Please welcome to the show, Bobo. Thursday morning, Bobo. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing good, Jimmy. And first of all, I got to thank, there's one team I have to thank for putting me in, in terms of the SBR personalities leading the way in the Pick 6 contest. Air Force, I salute you. Great job by them on Saturday against the Colorado Buffaloes. That was a 2-unit play for me in the Pick 6, so that result definitely helped. But, Jimmy, it's early. You don't give the Super Bowl out to the Bills or the 49ers or the Ravens after 2 weeks just because they're 2-0. You're not going to give anybody the Pick 6 contest champion belt either after a few weeks. There's still a long season ahead of us, so it's just put your head down and go to work.
Absolutely. But I've it's tough. The first 2 weeks are tough. So the way you're handling it is nice work. I also was on Air Force plus 3.5. Didn't make it a Pick 6 pick, but I did bet it. And our very own Dom Ricci took it on the money line because Dom Ricci's got those big Long Island balls on him. But Bono, let's get to work right now. Let's start with... we really want to know what you want to do about football, but let's just talk. Do you have any afternoon MLB action?
Afternoon MLB, can't say that I do. In fact, in MLB, it's I'm looking at maybe the one game. I'm trying to think here. The one game that stuck out to me. Baseball slate. Let me just see here. Let me see. There was one here. It's coming. Give me a sec. Here we go. Milwaukee on the run line, potentially a bounce back spot for them. I was looking at that. I know Lyles has actually been more solid than not with the Brewers since he's been there. I think it's a bounce back spot. They need to win in the worst way after dropping the game to the Padres last night. I don't trust Lucchesi on the road. The only thing I gave any inkling to was the Brewers on the run line today.
I am on that very bet. I'm on the Brewers on -1 line. I got -171 on the money line. I got the run line at +125. I get it, man. Paper said Tommy swinging low. Tommy said those balls be banged around over the years. Okay. Sorry. That feels good to laugh after that shit show I had last night. God, I was on the Orioles on the -1 line. Bobo, and that's 6 runs by the Jays late, man. That got me right in the old gooch. Okay, so no baseball action.
Oh, no, don't tell me you were on Baltimore last night. Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah,
that's absolutely sick that happened.
I got
Sorry, Jim.
I had +176 on the run line, -112 on the money line. It just really hurt me. But let's not talk about it. Okay, Thursday night football, college, and NFL. You making moves, Bobo?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at Tulane here a little bit. Like I say, I got on it earlier. -5. I was not surprised that people have jumped on this Tulane side a little bit. Look, I know Houston destroyed this team last year, and I know there's going to be people that are thinking, hey, if Houston beat up this team the way they did last year, why can't they do it again? Because it's a new season. And I think this is honestly the best Tulane team that Willie Fritz has had, to be honest with you, since he's been here in New Orleans with this Green Wave program. I really like this team a lot. I think the LSU transfer quarterback, Justin McMillan's taken a step forward in terms of improving at the quarterback position. But really what I like most of all about this team is their defense. You know, their defensive line. If you watched the game a couple weeks ago, and I did because I had Tulane plus the points, they just squeaked it out, a winner in that game. They were blowing up the Auburn offensive line more than one occasion in that game. Auburn was finding it difficult to win the battle along the line of scrimmage against this Tulane defensive line. And the good news for Tulane defensively with their front seven tonight, Jimmy, is they've got 2 of their best key starters coming back. From one guy from injury, one guy from suspension. One of them is their sack leader. He'll be back on the field playing tonight, suiting up against Houston. So an already pretty good defensive line now gets 2 of their better starters back for this game tonight. I like a lot about how this sets up, too, for Tulane. This is a rare spotlight national TV game for them on ESPN. The ESPN cameras don't come to the Tulane campus every week. You know, you're going to relish this opportunity if you're Tulane. You're going to relish the opportunity, too, to dish out some payback. And there's people that follow the Houston Cougars, beat writers. Beat writers, by the way, are a great source to follow at this time of year. They seem to think De'Aaron King's battling something from an injury perspective because he doesn't look right. He hasn't looked like he's fully been using his legs as much as we think. He hasn't been as accurate with the football as we would expect. There's some people that think he's taken a beating behind a suspect offensive line, and that's the matchup that I think can swing in Tulane's favor tonight. Houston's offensive line's been suspect, and Tulane's defensive line I think is really, really good. They have a chance, I think, to control the line of scrimmage in that particular matchup here tonight. And, of course, the Houston defense, you can't compare them to Tulane. I mean, the Houston defense, got gashed by Oklahoma. They gave up points and yards to Prairie View A&M the week after that. And then you look after halftime of last week's game against Washington State and that Mike Leach offense, they couldn't stop the Washington State after halftime of that football game. So you talk about a massive discrepancy between the defensive acumen of these two teams, and I think it's going to show tonight. So even at -5 after the move, I still like Tulane a little bit.
I'm not going to make a move on Tulane. We have Keems the man, CT Bay's backing Houston +5. I did like Tulane at -3.5, and I didn't pull the trigger, and I'm not going to take them at 5, although I do think they're the better football team. And we have been talking about King possibly being injured. In saying all that, I did make a move going against Kevin Pine here and CT Bay's on the total. We watched this total open up at 60.5, go all the way down to 55.5. I had Big Boss on the show, and he was like, you know what, this is too low now. And I agreed, and I jumped on the over. I like seeing it right now at 57, getting that 1.5, 57.5 at Heritage. What do you think about this total? If you had a free play, would you be on the over or the under?
Yeah, this is a fascinating game from a totals perspective because I'm not convinced Houston's offense is going to move the ball tonight, against a Tulane defense. But the shaky O-line, King's not exactly lit it up to the level we thought he would, and now you're going up against a really good defense. So I'm not sure Houston's going to move the ball. Tulane's offense, I think, will. be able to have success offensively because I don't like what I've seen out of the Houston defense. And you're going to get pace from both of the teams. Houston plays above average. I think Holgerson actually has slowed down the pace just a little bit. Like, he's not getting up to the line, and they're not snapping the football as quickly as he has in years past. Like his West Virginia teams, years ago, they'd be going at a really fast pace. I think he slowed it down a little bit, but he still has this Houston offense playing at an above-average pace, and Tulane has increased their pace this year. They're playing a lot faster than they have in years past. Let's not forget Tulane, one of the slowest teams in the country offensively in terms of seconds per play last year under that triple option, which they've made some amendments to that offense. They're trying to throw the ball a little bit more, trying to do a little bit more spread offense, play at a little faster tempo. So Tulane's going faster, so you're going to get pace on both sides. So from that standpoint, the over makes sense, but I don't know what I'm going to get offensively from Houston tonight against this Tulane defense. So I'm not involved in the total, but it's one of those conflict games. Pace tells me over. I think the matchups kind of tell me under.
Interesting breakdown. Yeah, I don't like seeing the other guys moving towards the under right now. I'm hoping for pace. I'm also hoping when we talk
And here's my issue too, Jimmy. I was on the over last week with Houston. And that game, 55 points, stayed way under the total. If you only get to 55 points with Washington State involved, two really fast, and Washington State goes pretty fast, and they throw the ball, and they're a big play offense, and they only got to 55 last week in that game. It gives me some pause that this game could get over a 57 tonight.
No, I hear that. I'm also hoping the cameras, the ESPN cameras that we talk about being at Tulane here tonight to really spark, like some special teams touchdowns, some excitement is what I'm hoping for. Ben Sports 24/7 says Tulane Houston will be more defensive than we think, taking under. That's uncomforting. But let's keep rolling. Matt Randall says Taint play today. Boston, San Francisco under 8.5. I know we got to move into. I want to hear what you're on Thursday Night Football, but let's just briefly talk about this spot. Taint play today is on the under with Rodriguez going up against Bumgarner, and then our San Francisco Giants expert, Not Flush On, says so they moved Mad Bum's rotation so he could get this start. Mad Bum and Bochy are extremely close. I think this will be one of Madison's most emotional starts. Giants should win this game in the under. You have any feeling about this Giants Red Sox spot?
Yeah, you know what? And that's the reason why I'm not buying into a letdown for San Francisco. Because they got the big 2000th win for Bochy last night. You could tell they wanted to get it done last night. They came with a purpose last night to the field. Boston didn't. Boston's totally asleep right now. They just want this season, I think, the Red Sox to get over with. There's no freaking way I'm laying minus 170 with this dead to the world Boston team right now. I think there is a case now maybe to play San Francisco at a nice plus price here because Bumgarner, the last start potentially with the Giants, could be a situation. It's be he's looking at potentially being last time with Bochy as well. So I'm looking at this as a situation where initially, if this is not Bumgarner involved, they get the big win for Bochy last night. Maybe it's a little hangover, a little letdown. Maybe not so today. I'll tell you what, it's Giants or nothing. There's no way I would lay anything with Boston right now. You see this team on the field the last couple of days, Jimmy. They look like they are totally disinterested. They'd rather be anywhere else in the world, but at Fenway Park playing baseball right now. That's not the kind of team I'm looking to lay $170 with.
Doug Barnhouse says, God, I cannot wait until regular season baseball's over. I get it. It's been a long season, man. I hit my thousandth bet on the show here yesterday, and it's just been a battle. Okay, let's move on to Thursday Night Football in the NFL. I'm on the Jaguars team, total under 19.5. I like that spot a lot, but I still feel like I don't trust Minshew on a short week, and I want to back the Titans. Is that a square spot? Do you have a move on NFL Thursday Night Football?
Yeah, I would lean Titans. I don't love it, but I would lean Titans a little bit. Look, I had Jacksonville plus the points against Houston last week, and part of it was you got Houston off the real tough loss against New Orleans. I mean, the Monday night game. They put up points, and they couldn't stop the Saints when it mattered. They end up losing on the Will Lutz field goal in the final second. I thought it would be dubious for them to cover double digits against Jacksonville. And Jacksonville's defense did everything they could to keep them in that game and give them a chance. Minshew was decent, but when push came to shove, they still had trouble moving the ball last week against that Houston defense. And Tennessee's defense is pretty damn good. I think they are pretty good. I know Indianapolis got the big touchdown drive in the fourth quarter. Brissett moved the ball, put him in position, got the touchdown late to beat the Titans Sunday. But I like the Colts in terms of their offense. I think their offense is better than people think without Luck. I think Brissett's capable. He's proven that. Let's not forget the Chargers in week 1. I thought that Colts offense and Brissett in particular played pretty well. I don't think there's a shame for Tennessee in saying, oh, our defense lost at home to a Jacoby Brissett-led Indianapolis Colts team. No, I don't say that's a bad loss for Tennessee. I think it's going to be a little bit tough to trust Minshew and this, I think, still limited Jaguars offense right now to move the ball against this Tennessee defense. Now, Mariota on the road, it can sometimes be shaky, but let's not forget, week 1, went on the road and not just beat Cleveland, dominated the Browns, won the battle in the line of trench. Their O-line and their D-line, both sides of the ball, Jimmy, and that win against the Browns week 1, they dominated both sides of that line of scrimmage. That's a positive here for me going into this game against Jacksonville. I know people make a big deal. Road teaming on a Thursday night is not necessarily the route you want to take. Travel involved on a short week, I get that. But I have more faith right now in this Tennessee team than Jacksonville, with a head coach that's on the hot seat right now in Doug Marrone, who had that spat with Jalen Ramsey, who may not even be with the team after this game tonight with all the trade rumors swirling around. There's just a lot of off-the-field distractions and shit going on with this Jacksonville team that I don't want to back them right now, especially in a price range where they have to win the game to cash a ticket, and that's what they have to do tonight. So it's not it's a strong opinion, but I do think I would lean Tennessee tonight.
Yeah, I agree. But man, they just keep coming in. Cappers that I respect backing the Jags just over and over and over and over again. All right, let's talk college football. What are your favorite looks on this card?
College football, there's a bunch. We're on Air Force again. That number's coming down, unfortunately, but it's still 7.5 at 5 dimes if you like that. So I'm on Air Force again. Now I know the spot's a little trickier this week. They're off a huge overtime win against Colorado. That was an in-state game. The big brother team from the Pac-12, and Air Force clearly was up for that game and excited to play it, and not a fluky win either. That was a straight out right side Air Force in that game. They outgained Colorado by 119 yards. Now going against Boise State, they're on the road again. I understand that, but this team's just been money in the bank as an underdog, this Air Force team. Throughout the Troy Calhoun era, this has been an absolutely outstanding team to back as a dog. I mean, the results don't lie. They've been absolutely fantastic in that role. What are they now? 15-5 against the spread, I believe, or 18-8-1 against the spread their last 27 as a dog, 11-3-1 against the spread their last 15 as a road underdog. And Boise State, I got to see it to believe it that they can cover these big numbers at home. I remember taking Marshall a couple of weeks ago on the blue turf against Boise State. They were getting 12 or 13 in that game. They only lost 14-7, and Boise State's offense had trouble moving the ball against Marshall's defense. The key for me in trusting Air Force here is the strength of Boise State can throw the football around. Hank Bachmeier has proven he can do that. This is a solid quarterback. He's going to have a nice career. Air Force's past defense in years past has been awful. Their secondary's been brutal. I think it was pretty solid last week against Montez in Colorado. In fact, to the point where I'm ready to say I think they're improved in terms of their ability to defend the pass. I think that's going to be key for Air Force here. They can show that again this week that they've improved against the pass. They've also covered 4 of the last 6 head-to-head meetings against Boise State since 2013. And again, they're great in the underdog role. Boise State's absolutely lousy as home favorites. In fact, they're 16-36 ATS, their last 52 home games on the blue turf. So I like Air Force on Friday night.
Backing Air Force on Friday night, going back to the well Air Force. We have a big Ragu like in the over in this Air Force Boise State spot. What do you think about that?
I think Air Force's defense is actually better than it's been in a long time. Like Air Force, there'd be times when they go up against superior athletes, superior skill position talent, superior quarterbacks, good O-line, they get picked apart. I thought their defense was terrific against Colorado. I think they got worn down a little bit late, and Colorado started to move the ball a bit, but when they needed the stop in overtime, they got it. I think Air Force's defense is a lot better than it's been in recent seasons. And when it comes to Air Force offensively, they're going to, milk the clock. They're not going to be in any rush to snap the football. So it's a dicey total for me. It's one that I'm probably going to leave alone.
What are your favorite looks on Saturday?
Yeah, we'll go quick on this. I like Northwestern plus the points against Michigan State. Again, I'm just going to gravitate every single time to Pat Fitzgerald as an underdog. His track record as a Big Ten underdog is actually even better ATS than his overall track record as an underdog. And I'm sick and tired of trusting Michigan State laying this kind of number. I mean, I did it last week with Arizona State. It didn't work because I thought Arizona State was going to do absolutely nothing. They didn't, but I at least thought Michigan State's offense would move the ball. That did not happen. Northwestern, Hunter Johnson's been sketchy. Like we thought we were raving about how this guy could be the best, most talented quarterback Pat Fitzgerald's had here at Northwestern, and it hasn't looked that way. Not even close so far. And playing a good Michigan State defense is a concern, but where's the points going to come from Michigan State on the road here in Evanston? Northwestern can still play defense. They shut down Stanford earlier this season, even though Stanford won that game. Their offense really didn't move the ball a ton. Now, I know Costello got hurt in that game, but this has been same old Northwestern defense. They'll give up some yards, but in the red zone, they'll tighten up. They'll force turnovers, and they'll keep their team in the game. And after what I saw from Michigan State's offense last week, there's no way I'm trusting them on the road laying 9 against a team that's just been money in the bank as an underdog in this kind of point spread role. So give me Northwestern, the Wildcats, on Saturday.
Backing Air Force and Northwestern. We got to move over to Teddy covers now, Bobo, but is there anything really quickly that you're liking as well on the Saturday card?
I'll run through them right now pretty quickly. I like South Carolina, Missouri over 61.5. I think Kelly Bryant and that Missouri offense will have success. And I think Helinski, let's give Helinski credit. Moved the ball against Alabama last week. Not a lot of people saw that coming. I'm not a believer yet in Missouri's defense. I think we'll see points in that game. I like Louisville +7 against Florida State. I have no faith at all in Florida State laying points right now. And Louisville, so bad last year, Jimmy, that they quit on Petrino. What were they? 1-11 against the spread. They were just power rated so low coming into the season that there had to be some point spread value on Louisville to start this season. And it's proven that way. They're 3-0 against the spread. They hung in there with Notre Dame for more than a half, covered that number. They beat up Eastern and Western Kentucky. I think they can go into Tallahassee here, a Florida State team that's not coached well at all. How you don't know to spike the football with 5 seconds left at the end of the Virginia game is mind-boggling to me. I'm sitting on my couch, I know that. Willie Taggart doesn't. That's a problem. Their defense can't stop anything right now. I think Louisville's live in that game. What else am I looking at here? Let's see. Washington laying the points against BYU. I like Eason a lot. Jacob Eason. He's going to make you forget Jake Browning quicker than you can believe it. Eason is a great quarterback. They're getting him from Georgia, the Georgia transfer. I think it's a letdown spot for BYU after the win against USC last week. So I kind of like Washington there laying the points. And I'm also looking at Kentucky +6 against Mississippi State. Mississippi State loses outright against Kansas State last week. They're banged up along the O-line. They can't protect the quarterback. Tommy Stevens was getting hit. That's why and ineffective. They made a quarterback change to Schrader. The defense lost a ton from last year. It's not the same Bulldogs defense. I thought Kentucky was going to be down this year. Not the case. They've been pretty good. I thought they played well even in defeat against Florida last week. I don't make a big deal of Terry Wilson, the quarterback, being hurt. I think Sawyer Smith, the Detroit transfer, is more than capable. I know he had 3 INTs last week. If he cuts those down, he'll be a good quarterback. I think he's got the chance to do that. I know he's going on the road for the first time here, but I have no faith right now in the Bulldogs laying points in Kentucky. Road dog roll under Stoops has been a good one for them. I like Kentucky plus the points there. That's about it.
I love those looks, Bobo, and I can't wait to talk to Teddy about your looks because I've got also Ragu's and Big Boss's looks from yesterday's Pick 6 show. What a treat it is to roll with you, Bobo, representing Steeltown, Hamilton, Ontario. Where can we find you on Twitter and what shows you have coming up this week?
Find me on Twitter at Bobano. We're active on Twitter every single day. Catch me on Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern. It's the SBR College Football Closing Line Show. Me, Drew Martin, Big Ragu, and DJ Big Boss. The great foursome. We're looking forward to being with you every Saturday. Join us 11 a.m. as we break down the Saturday college football card.
I love that show you guys have on Saturday. I'm a big fan of it. Thank you so much for joining us, Bobo. Enjoy the rest of the day, my man.
All right, Jimmy. Good luck to you and all of our viewers. See ya.
There he goes, Bobo. And what a show we have this morning. Parlay Papi, to Bobo, to Teddy Covers, representing Las Vegas, Nevada here every morning show on Betting with the Bag. Please welcome to the show, Teddy Covers. Teddy, how you doing this Thursday morning?
I'm doing great, man. That Tuesday and Wednesday in September where there's no football, you're just kind of jonesing a little bit. You're like, all right, let's get to Thursday. Let's get to Thursday. We're at Thursday. We got football tonight. We got football tomorrow. We got football Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So nothing but smiles here in Vegas for me. What about you, Jimmy? You seem like you were energized today for a change.
Well, I did have a rough night, and having the Jays, my team, put up 6 runs, so I don't hit that Orioles -1. I had Orioles plus 176 on the reverse run line. Really hurt last night, so I'm just starting to get over it now and feeling excited about tonight's action. So let's start with NFL quickly and then focus on NCAA football. Have you decided to make a move on this game? Because, man, the Jacksonville Jaguar supporters are heavy and present in the chat. It's all Jacksonville except guys like Big Ragu on the Titans. And I want to back the Titans. We just had Bobo saying that he wouldn't back Jacksonville, that it would be a Titans look for him if he was going to make a move on the side. We have Jacksonville backers all over our chat right now. Are you making a move on tonight's NFL game?
Oh, yeah, I'm locked and loaded. I got Tennessee. I played them on the money line at -125. The Titans against Jacksonville. And there's a couple of thought processes here. First and foremost, Tennessee's better than Jacksonville. I don't care how you want to slice it. You break these two teams down, you watch what they've done the first 2 weeks. You look at preseason expectations, you look at last year, you look at what we expect from this year. Tennessee's the better of these two teams, and I don't know what they're seeing in the forums that's making them think otherwise. Both sides of the football, Tennessee's the better of these two teams. Then we talk about the nuance for this particular matchup, all right? Rookie quarterbacks look good for a couple of weeks. Well, I don't know if he looked good. Well, he looked okay. And he's getting a ton of credit. Gardner Minshew, mustache, Minshew, when he came off the bench in week 1, came in against a Chiefs team that was playing prevent defense, and he picked up some decent stats. They were never competitive to win the game. And, at the end of the game, say, oh, look, Minshew had decent numbers. Okay, he was playing against a defense that was playing soft coverage. Last week, they had 6 points with, 5 minutes left in that game, 6 minutes left in that game. It's not like the offense is moving up and down the field with Gardner Minshew. It's not going to. It's all dink and dunk. But the key issue when you talk about a rookie quarterback getting ready off a start on Sunday for a Thursday game, to me, that's where the nuance is here. I do not want a rookie QB on a short turnaround situation. I don't think Gardner Minshew will be ready tonight. And throw in the fact that the Titans are coming off a loss in a game. They were every bit as good, if not better, than Indy on Sunday. They didn't make plays down the stretch. They didn't convert on third downs, et cetera, et cetera. I like Tennessee coming off a loss. I want them hungry off a loss. So, yeah, I think the Titans are relatively cheap. I have them in my pocket. I've invited my clients to bet Tennessee. And to me, this wasn't one where I'm like debating and, no. Tennessee's better than Jacksonville, period. And I expect it to show on the field tonight.
So do I. And I just, I guess I'm hesitant. I'm on the Jaguars team total under 19.5. I love that look. But I'm certainly thinking about jumping with you and Ragu on the Titans money line here, and I may make that move. Okay, let's get into college football. This is a fun part. I loved these Thursday shows. So what I did last Thursday, and I'd like to do again this Thursday, is I'd like to go over Big Ragu's spots that he likes. I'd like to go over Big Boss's spots that he likes, and I'd like to go over Bobo spots that he likes. I think that's really enjoyable way of handling this. And we just had Bobo on the show, so why don't we start with Bobo? I'm going to go over his spots, and we'll do a quick take on what you think of him. First, he's going back to the well. It was his 2-unit play in the Pick Six $50,000 contest last week. He's going right back to the well. I don't know if it's his 2-unit play in the contest, but back to the well with Air Force on Friday. Air Force, Boise State. He's taking Air Force to cover. What do you think of his first spot on his card?
So I'm not going to talk him out of it. Certainly all the sharp money has come on Air Force this week, just like all the sharp money came on Air Force last week, and it was right wire to wire. And the final score, the fact that game went into overtime / was very tight, was misleading. Air Force was by far the better team on the field, by far. And the fact they shot themselves in the foot a handful of times. They had some real miscues in that ball game that allowed the game to go into overtime in a game that they dominated. Boise's been a terrible home favorite, and I mean terrible. As I talked earlier in the week, how the Broncos at one point had my single strongest home field in all of college football. That was, a decade and a half ago. And since that time, Boise's home field's been on a steady downward climb. Look at them over the last 3 years. Look at them in the Harsin era. They 33% ATS is home chalk. I don't even think they're that high. They're consistent losing. And of course, they lost to Marshall ATS in week 2 of the season. So I'm not excited about laying with Boise. And I know that, when you see this much wise guy support on Air Force and the fact that they won by more than the final score would indicate last week, you make a strong case for Air Force here. All that being said, there's one matchup that really concerns me, and it's been a problem for Air Force in every recent meeting against Boise, and that's the Air Force secondary against the Boise passing game. And Boise's been able to throw the football around with success against Air Force every recent meeting. I'm not convinced that changes tonight. So, that's Friday night. I'm sorry. On Friday night. So it's a game where I've talked about a lot this week, but I'm not close to getting the betting window. I've heard strong cases for both sides in this contest. For me, it's going to be a pass.
It's a pass from Teddy. And Antfam says, Teddy, please be with me on Michigan. You know that he is 100% backing Michigan. It was one of his first looks. Al Mack also moving to CFL quickly, he was saying last night on the show, if the Argos get to +7, fire. +7 at -115, +7 juiced, fire. And he's firing on the Argos at +7. Okay, so, and feel free to bring in your questions. Bring in all your questions. I'm copying and pasting them, but we're going to keep going over, as I said, we're going to go over Babano's, Ragu's, Big Bosses, and then to the questions. Let's go on to Babano's next look. And this one, I've heard a ton of back and forth, and that's this Northwestern spot getting 10 points. He's backing Northwestern, Teddy. What do you think?
Is that line back up to 10 this morning? It was sneaking down last night.
Oh, I was just going off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I didn't have it in front of me.
Yeah. We're looking at 9s, 9.5s right now. The 10s are gone.
Okay.
But let me say this, all right? Point spreads are set based on power rating A versus power rating B. Throw in a home field advantage, adjust a little bit for circumstance, injury / situation, and voila, you've got a point spread. The point spreads pay absolutely no attention to the trends. None whatsoever. It's power rating versus power rating. It's team A versus team B. And what team A has done in these spots and team B has done in these spots in the past is not even considered when it comes to setting the point spread. That's something we talk about, trying to beat the point spread, but the spread itself is set pure math. Team A, Team B, the difference, the home field, whatever little edges, whatever little adjustments you make, and bang, there it is. So what's happened in this Northwestern Michigan State game that opened 6.5, 7, and that got bet up to 10, is that the wise guys said, yeah, these trends favor Northwestern. Yeah, they've been good dogs under Pat Fitzgerald. Yeah, Sparty's been terrible chalk. Oh, look what happened to Sparty last week. They couldn't move the football. And you know what the wise guys have said? We don't care about any of that crap. Michigan State's good. Northwestern isn't. That's why the money's come on Michigan State. Now, later in the week, we're seeing, look at the trends. Look at the angles. Look at Northwestern. I've heard 500 people talk to me this week. Look, Pat Fitzgerald's an underdog. That's not what the spread's based on. I think Sparty's a lot better than Northwestern, all right? I don't think they played a good offensive game last week. I'm not rushing the window, laying more than a touchdown with Michigan State given the trends, but I know this. I don't want Northwestern this week. The popular underdogs tend to get buried, and that's one that's a very popular underdog.
Very, very interesting breakdown, man. That's I find that just so. And I got to stop saying interesting so much when I break things down with you. Okay, let's move on. Quickly, just very quickly. I meant to ask you this, but we moved on. A lot of talk on this total in the Air Force Boise game. A lot of talk about maybe backing the over from last night, and we'll get into that spot when we talk about Ragu. But what do you think about this Air Force total?
So again, it's a very difficult. It's almost like the Auburn A&M handicap, where the pace is going to be there, but you don't trust either teams to score. In this, to score touchdowns. Where I'm like, I would love the over. Oops, no, I don't love the over. I love the under. Oops, I can't bet either one. This is kind of like that. because Air Force is not going to push pace against Boise, and Boise is not going to push pace against Air Force. This game is not going to be a game with 160 offensive plays. So there are going to be fewer possessions in this contest. Air Force wants long, slow drives, keeping the Boise offense off the field. Air Force does have some correlation with under in this ballgame because Air Force is not going to trade touchdowns with Boise all night. And if Boise gets to 35 or 40, Air Force is going to have a hard time covering the number. So there's some correlation there. But I think that Air Force is going to have some success moving the ball. And I think Boise is going to have some success moving the ball. And I don't know, but the pace isn't there for me to bet the over. So it's one of those conundrum games where you have pace that doesn't match the weaknesses defensively of these two squads, and that means that I'm not going to play the total.
Staying off of the total, we're going to go from one total to another total. This is a Bobo total, 2 o'clock our time here, San Jose, Costa Rica, 4 p.m. Eastern, South Carolina, Missouri. He likes this total to go over, but this total opened up at 64 and has been bet down to 61. South Carolina, Missouri. Do you like Bobo's look on the over?
It sure makes a lot of sense to me. I'll tell you that. I don't know that I'm going to get to the betting window with it because, Helinski, the Frosh QB for South Carolina, okay, do it on the road now. You know what I mean? I want to say, you oftentimes see the young QB come in. There's no film on him. He's going to have a good day. And then next week he's on the road against somebody real. Again, not that Alabama's not real, but Missouri's got a solid defense. They're not awful on the defensive side of the football. And now he's going on the road and doing it. And I do worry about that. The markets are clearly worried about that. All that being said, if I had to play the game, I would play the over. We know what kind of pace Missouri wants to play out here. They want to get to 50.
They do. I like that look. Let's move on to another spot he likes, and that is Louisville. We've talked a lot about this game. Florida State opening up at 8.5, now at 6.5. This total opened at 60, now at 61 or 61.5 at Bookmaker and Heritage. He likes Louisville plus the points here. Do you agree?
Don't know way I could bet it. Again, we talk about why this line is where it is. Florida State was power rated here coming into the season, really high, and they've been notching down. Louisville was power rated really low, and Bobo made an excellent point when we talk about how Louisville quit on their coach in their season last year and came into the season with a power rating that was ridiculously low compared to the talent level on hand. But now what we've seen is Louisville's power rating going up and Florida State's power rating going down, and we're getting a relatively short number here. So I could only take Louisville. I'm not laying with Florida State, but I'd like a couple extra points if I was going to get to the window. I had them on my short list, and I pretty well, I leaned Louisville, but I pretty well decided not to pull the trigger on that game. I'm going to give it one more look in the next 24 hours, see if I find something. But it feels like the kind of game that the Seminoles going to win by a touchdown.
Tight line. Would have preferred it at the 8. Bobo jumped in at the 7. Now you'd have to take it at 6.5. Let's move on to a game a lot of people want to talk about. One of them, our guy, Jerry Beatty. And he says, please ask about the Washington Huskies game. Is there value on the Huskies as long as it's under 7? And this is a spot we already heard Bobo on. Washington Huskies at BYU. 6.5's on the board right now. This total opened at 49, now at 52.5. Do you back these Huskies?
So, the answer is yes. Washington is a clear choice in this game. 6.5 is cheap. It was 35-7 last year. The Cougs didn't get 200 yards in that game. I don't see any scenario in which BYU's offense is going to be able to move the ball up and down the field here against Washington's D. So it's how much can Washington score against BYU's D? And I'm shocked at this total move. I really thought, hey man, this total, I thought it was high at the open. And the money's still going on the over. I don't know how BYU scores. Again, they had under 200 yards and 7 points in this matchup last year. And the BYU offense this year is not a whole lot better than it was a year ago. Maybe that they faced so many, they had step up games. And, they've moved the ball against some pretty good defenses in recent weeks a little bit. But I definitely lean under. I definitely lean Washington in that one. And I'm actually debating which of the two is the better play. That being said, if you like the Huskies, and I've already bet Washington. I haven't bet the under because the total is going the other way. But I would get the Washington 6.5 now. And underwise, again, it says as long as it keeps going up, I'm not going to bet it. But I can't figure out why they're betting the over in this ballgame. And that, there has been a legitimate and significant move to the over. And that's something I want to investigate today and see if I can find out what it is they're betting. Because I haven't seen it at first look.
I like that breakdown. Let's move on to Babano's last spot on this card. It's Kentucky on the road and Mississippi State. Mississippi State opening up at 7.5 point favorites. They're down now to 6-point favorites. This total stuck at 48.5 all week. Teddy covers. Do you agree with Babano's look with Kentucky and the points?
If you want a Kentucky, you better have a 7 in your pocket already. I don't want Kentucky at less than 7 in this game. I worry about Sawyer Smith. And I worry about the mentality of that team. Remember, they had Florida beat last week. All they got to do is kick a field goal. Oops. And then an oops on the other end if you had +8 with Kentucky. It was a demoralizing loss. And now they're going on the road for the first time this year. They're going on the road with a quarterback who made Sawyer Smith made some throws last week. He also made some mistakes, some significant mistakes. That worries me. This line surprised me. It did feel too high at the opener. 7.5 the opener was like, you're like, what? Well, they've gotten the Kentucky money they were looking for. I don't want the Wildcats at less than 7. And again, this is another one of the, like Northwestern, this is another one of those popular underdogs, and I'm very concerned about those type of bets. That's the only thing I care about consensus in college football. It really is. When you find the underdogs that are very popular, that's enough to get me off a game. A favorite at 80% I don't care. They know that everyone's not going to bet Alabama. No one's going to bet Southern Miss. That's just the way college football is. But the popular dogs that are getting 60, 70% consensus numbers, those over the long term have been negative expectation wagers. And that's the one element of public support that I will allow to talk me off a college football side. If everyone likes the dog, I don't like that dog. And this is the dog that everybody likes.
Wow, God, I love these angles. Okay, we're moving on to DJ Big Boss's looks from last night's live Pick 6 show. Let's start off with his first look, Texas at -5. We've talked and debated this game all week. What do you think of Big Boss's first look, Texas -5?
I would only play the Longhorns in that ball game. I think that they are better than Oklahoma State. I think that Okie State's going to have a hard time stopping Texas at all. In this contest. So it's simply a matter of, can the Longhorns get a handful of stops? I think they can. Agree with the take. Texas or pass.
Texas or pass, says Teddy. Let's move into this next spot, and I can't wait to talk about it. Let me make sure that there may have been some movement on the total, and let me grab it right now. Okay, here we go. So his next look has gone slightly down from the opening. It's a total. It opened at 66.5. It's now 65.5. Actually, it's 66, 65.5 for 65. It's the over in Western Michigan, Syracuse. The over at Western Michigan, Syracuse. What do you think of Big Boss's second look?
So they played opening day last year, and it was about a big play on the over. And it was pretty, I think it was 55-42 or something. It was a real shootout. Syracuse did whatever they wanted offensively, and Western Michigan, once they fell behind early, they moved the football well. Syracuse didn't play a whole lot of D in that contest. So from a theoretical perspective, we've seen these two teams play a shootout. We know how fast Syracuse wants to play. We know that Western Michigan's defense is going to likely have a hard time stopping them. We know that Western Michigan can put up points. It certainly makes a ton of sense. I didn't pull the trigger on it because I don't trust Tommy DeVito. I really don't. I've seen enough of him now that this is not a quarterback I want to be betting overs with. And the drop-off from Dungy to DeVito is real. I've been steadily downgrading Syracuse in my power ratings from opening day. I cashed ticket with them on opening day at Liberty. And they didn't look impressive there on offense. And they haven't looked impressive on offense since. So I like the lean, but I personally have not pulled the trigger, and I won't because I haven't seen Syracuse do anything on offense yet this year.
Okay, interesting breakdown. Wow, okay. Western Michigan, Syracuse over. I can't wait to talk about this look of Big Boss's on his next look. This is a total that was moving so he's going against the market, and Boss is never scared to do that when he feels like he's got the right angle. This is funny because it's the LSU Vanderbilt total. We've talked about Vanderbilt's pass defense being terrible, as LSU firing on all cylinders right now, possibly the best team right now in college football with a passing attack that can take advantage of Vanderbilt's weaknesses. Big Boss likes the LSU Vandy under at 62, likes the under at 62. And after Big Boss gave this play, Big Ragu was talking about being interested in Vandy at plus 24 or plus 24.5 or 23.5, depending on where you shop. So I'd like to touch on both of those looks. Even though Ragu did not make this an official play, he said that he's got a lot of interest here. So Big Boss is under in LSU Vandy, that's open at 58, now at 62, and possibly backing Vandy at home plus 24.
I'm not going to give a strong take on either one because I don't have a strong take on either one. It's not a game that I like at all. I know this. I don't want Vandy. Vandy's garbage. And if LSU comes to play, it's one of those games where if you have the dog, the whole game, you're like, oh, please don't break one. Oh, please don't break one, because the game's going to break wide open at some point. And then you're like, all right, can we get through the back door? You know, the bigger dogs in college football, there's two that I'm interested in this week. Old Dominion and Notre Dame. And I haven't pulled the trigger on either one yet. And I missed the best of the number with Old Dominion. I don't even know that I will pull the trigger in that ball game. But in general, the bigger dogs, they can be problematic in matchups like this one. And LSU's got nothing to look forward to. They have Utah State on deck. Total-wise, my concern, and the under, I wouldn't talk you out of an underplay because I don't think Vandy's going to get a whole lot, and I wouldn't be surprised if LSU blows them out in the first half and the second half just grinds clock. That wouldn't shock me at all. That, to me, seems like a reasonable scenario to expect in a ball game like this one. So I certainly wouldn't talk you out of the under. In this one, and sidewise again. I mean, you could take Vandy. There's value with Vandy, but value is not the only piece of the equation. I really worry about the matchups for the Commodores. They can't guard LSU's receivers, and if LSU's throwing the football all game, Vandy's just going to get blown out.
The look I found so exciting just because it's going against the market. Matt Randall agreeing with it. Big Ragu, part of it was the 12 noon early start. That was part of it. It said the RPO will start slow. Sleepy game, you'll see. What do you think about that idea? 12 noon early start, sleepy game.
I've seen no evidence or sample size that shows that early start games at the noon Eastern, 9 o'clock Pacific times are lower scoring. When you have a West Coast team traveling east, especially in college football for an early start game, that's something to consider. Cal Ole Miss is one that stands out in that regard, but not with two teams that are already on East Coast time. I don't think it matters one iota.
Okay, let's keep rolling. The final spot on Big Boss's card: Arkansas minus 21 to smash San Jose State. Arkansas at home. Minus 21, hasn't moved. This total's gone from 57.5 all the way up to 61.5 at some books. But he likes Arkansas to smash San Jose State in the mouth. What do you think of Arkansas State 21? What do you think about Arkansas as 21-point favorites?
I don't like them. Arkansas is not a team I want to lay 21 points with. They're not. And let's not forget, before Colin Hill gets hurt last week, it's 35-35 at home in a revenge spot against Colorado State. You know what I mean? And they close out with 3 touchdowns to win and cover. And one of the touchdowns, the guy broke 18 tackles to get to the end zone. It wasn't bad defense necessarily. Up next for Arkansas, they go to A&M. Maybe this is a team they can beat. So they're like, okay, let's pound them. San Jose's got a quarterback. San Jose's, they're not good. Arkansas has an enormous edge. Maybe Arkansas is a good bet. San Jose's not going to be able to compete in the trenches. They got a decent quarterback in Love who's, but he's not anyone who's going to be moving the football up and down the field against an SEC defense. Sometimes I like spots like this with teams like Arkansas, where they find a weak foe and they just at home and they just pound them. But I worry about the Razorbacks staying focused for 4 quarters, knowing what's on deck for them. And San Jose does have a decent quarterback who, in theory, can get through the back door here. So I guess it's a long pass for me. I'm not going to get involved.
Dav Fenn said San Jose State does not suck. Not that friggin' bad, he says. They hang within the number. But Brian Beasley says San Jose State is a community college. Ragu says these home-and-home matchups are golden to cap for revenge factors. Okay, so Arkansas not getting vouched for. So let's move on to our big Ragu. We got the sauce from the boss and the sauce. He likes the Boise Air Force over 55. We already talked about that. He also likes the Utah against USC, likes Utah against USC in this matchup. We've gone back and forth on it. Ragu likes Utah to smash USC in the mouth. What do you think about Utah here?
I would only take the Utah Utes. In fact, I have some Utah in my pocket. And it's a matchup again. Let me see what the number is now. Is it still 3.5? Yeah, there's still 3.5s out there. You can get 3.5, and it's the kind of game I was hoping I would get a 3, but even at 3.5, when I saw it starting to tick up, I'm like, let me lock in here now. So last year, USC gets off to a 14-0 lead at Utah, and then you blink, and then it's 34-14. 34 unanswered for the Utes. They have that potential. Utah will run the football in this game. They will throw the football in this game. I do not see the Trojans' defense stopping them. Now, Utah's not explosive, but they're grindy. They grind out the first downs. That's what they do. USC's offense not going to be on the field. I know that Slovis last week, he threw 3 picks. This is a good defense he's up against. This is a playmaking defense he's up against. By far the best defense he's seen so far. I expect there to be trouble. USC for me in this matchup. I'm sorry, Utah for me against USC in this matchup.
Backing the Utes here, backing Ragu's look. Then we have Ragu on Wisconsin. We know you're on the other side of Michigan. We've talked a lot about that game. Then finally, Ragu is on a look that is backed by an alumni of the opposing team, that being Drew Martin. Ragu is liking A&M. Texas A&M here in this game against Auburn, which is it's been not really heavily debated because we have not seen very many people backing Auburn, and we had Drew Martin, an Auburn alumni, saying take Texas A&M. This line opened -4 for A&M. It's now -3.5. Do you agree with this look of Ragu's on Texas A&M?
So I've been debating back and forth on this game all week, and I'll say this: I haven't played. I haven't made a bet on it. So anything I'm talking about is just blah 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 blah. It's not getting to the window with. There's certainly an A&M case, and you look at an under the radar point spread success team. Look at the Aggies under Jimbo Fisher. Consistent money winners in every role, and home chalk is one of the good ones for the Aggies over the last year and a half. And you talk about a Frosh QB making a tough against a good start in a hostile environment against a good defense, and that's what we're talking about with Bo Nix in this ball game. But we watched Kellen Mond against a good defense already, against Clemson's defense, and that offense didn't work, flat out. Auburn's defense is Clemson caliber. It is. All right. You can say what you want about their offense. Their defense is loaded. And when I see a quarterback that can't move the football against a good defense, you're like, okay, well, this time he's at home. Yeah, he is. And he's already seen one before. Yeah, he has. I do not trust Kellen Mond to lay points with him against this defense. For me, it's Auburn or pass. So I'm against Drew Martin on this one, I guess. Not the first time. It won't be the last.
And Matt Randall says Auburn with the points or no play for me. So interesting. Okay, that puts a question mark beside A&M. Ragu also interested in this Texas A&M under. It opened at 49. It's now at 48 or 47.5. What do you think Auburn, Texas A&M under?
So this is what I was talking about was an impossible total because the pace in this game is going to be frenetic. Both teams are going to run no huddle. Both teams are going to look to snap the ball with 20 seconds, 25 seconds on the play clock. There's going to be a lot of plays in this game. There could be, how many drives? 15 drives for each team in this contest? It wouldn't shock me at all. So the pace is going to be fast. I don't trust either offense to move the football against either defense. And when it comes to red zone execution, I don't trust either team to put the ball in the end zone. I expect field goals more than touchdowns. So you have super fast pace. And and also the other issue was that these are teams that can score on offense, they can score on defense, they can score on special teams. The chances are much higher of a non-offensive touchdown being scored in this game than in, Kent versus Bowling Green or something like that, where you don't have playmakers on special teams and on defense that can bring the ball to the house. So in a game where there's a much higher than average probability of a non-offensive score, you hate playing unders in those games, and this is one of them. But I don't trust either team to put the ball in the end zone. Hard total, really is. Good luck whichever way you bet it. I will be sitting that total on the sidelines.
Wow. A lot of back and forth now. A lot of people coming out and backing Auburn. Very, very, very exciting game coming up. Okay, we have some questions coming in here. Let's go with Chris Sanitate. This is what he wants to know about. He's got Utah LSU, and Washington State. But he wants to know, which of those 3 spots are you most confident in?
Utah.
Utah is the answer. Chris Sanitate. There you go. Rob Stevenson says, please ask Teddy about the Ohio State game. Ohio State going up against Miami of Ohio. This total opened up at 60.5. It's now 56.5. Ohio State opened as 38-point favorites. They're now 39 or 39-point favorites, basically, across the board. What do you think? Miami, Ohio State?
I do not have a strong opinion on this game at all. I'm not convinced the Buckeyes will be fully focused on the task at hand this week. I'm not convinced that Miami O can hang, even if Ohio State isn't fully focused on the task at hand. If I had to make a bet on the game, I would probably look under. I wouldn't be surprised if Ohio State gets out to a lead and then sits on the ball thereafter. And I don't trust the Red Hawks to score. So lean under, but not anything I'm actually betting.
And at this point, now that it's at 50, it's 4-point move at Pinnacle, the time to take the under would have been while it was at 60, or do you still think there's value at this number?
Look, the market's already moved. And if you're getting 4, and with totals, I don't freak out. Let me look at what the broader market did on that game real quick. Yeah, it's been, I'm seeing 56.5, 57. Opened, the broader, it was 60, and then it got bet down right off the bat to 58. So you're not getting way the worst. I don't expect anyone to get the opening number, okay? Unless you're sitting at your screen all day, unless you do this professionally, you're not getting the opening number if it moves off the opener. It's just how it is. So you say kind of get close. And when it's 58 at the, at a broader open, and you can get a 57 now, I'm going to say it's not a great bet. This isn't a back the dump truck up to the window with all your money in it. But I'm not going to say you can't bet it. There's no possible way because the total moved down a point. Yeah, you've missed the best of it. And that means you adjust your wager size accordingly. But I still do lean under in this one.
All right, we're going to ask 2 more games, 2 more spots. We have PD Pick saying, ask Teddy about UCF Pitt. CT Bays saying, I love Pitt at plus 11.5. UCF opened as 10-point favorites, now 11.5-point favorites. This total opened at 58. It's now at 61 or 61.5, but Pinnacle's still hanging the 60. UCF Pitt, Teddy.
It's an impossible game for me. I can only take UCF, and the price is not right to take UCF. Again, I've got UCF power rated high, and I'm not loaded up on Pitt. And my number on this game came out like it was like a 7.5 or something. It came out way short. I'm just looking for it real quick. And of course, now that I'm looking for it, I can't find it. Yeah, my number came out 7.5 on this game. And I've got UCF here and Pitt here. It's not like I'm way off. And the markets are saying, yeah. They opened 10.5 and it's nothing but UCF money. I understand the concept. UCF's good. They're coming to play. They've been, we talk about A&M being sneaky good under the radar money makers. UCF's been, they haven't been under the radar. They've been a great money maker. And they don't like to play it. But I'm not laying doubles on the road with this team against an ACC foe that's going to slow the game down. Pitt's not going to push pace here. And we saw some legit vulnerability in that UCF defense last week, and that was a huge win for them last week. And now they're laying doubles on the road. It's just the price isn't right. It's a pass.
And then we're going to close the show up with our very own Russell Gordy. He wants to know about this Cal Ole Miss spot. Cal opens up at Pinnacle as a favorite, 1.5-point favorites now. Ole Miss, 2.5-point favorites. This total is low. People think it can still get under it. It opened at 44, now 41.5 or 41 at 5 times. Teddy covers last game for today, Cal Ole Miss.
Hard game. And again, I totally agree with the move to the under, but when you're starting talking about, okay, now it's a 2.5-point move, and this was 44 across the board, and now it's a big move to the under, and it's a low total to begin with, and one cheap score will kill you. But Cal, all they do is play 12 to 10 games, 14 to 13. Their offense is really bad. It's not getting better. They have no playmakers at receiver. Quarterback can scramble, Gavers can scramble a little bit, but the running game isn't there. Cal works hard for all the points they get, and their defense is elite, absolutely elite. Ole Miss, that defense has impressed me. It's been a much better defense than I thought they were going to be coming into the season. That's one thing that stood out. It stood out in the opener against Memphis, stood out in the game against Arkansas. They got some people that, for an Ole Miss team that's not been good defensively lately, they've been very good in that regard. And they've shown some signs. Good, fascinating game. It's a pick-em type game at +3. I'm interested in either side. I do lean under, but again, at 41.5, it's only a lean in that total range.
Great stuff, Teddy. If you guys want to know Teddy's favorite looks on the card. You must join us tomorrow. That's sort of what we lead up to. Now, the looks will be different. Teddy jumps in early to try and beat market prices, so his favorite looks on Monday, Tuesday may not be his favorite looks on Friday at that price point. You'll have to join us tomorrow morning for Betting with the Bag to hear that. Teddy Covers, what a treat it is to roll with you. Please hit us with your Twitter handle, and low baggers everywhere, follow Teddy. He's very active on Twitter. What's that Twitter handle?
Yeah, we get a lot of feedback from viewers of the show. I really appreciate it. Thank you. At Teddy_covers on Twitter. I can't guarantee I'll respond to everything, but I look at everything, and even when I suck, I look at everything. So I appreciate all your comments. I appreciate all your follows, guys. I appreciate you. You're beautiful. Don't ever change. Thanks, Jimmy.
There he is. There he is, Teddy Covers. What a great guy. What a great capper. And you can see him here every morning on Betting with the Bag. And there is our NCAA football coverage for today, but we're going to jump back at it tomorrow. So we do need to talk about the WNBA playoffs, and I can only hope that our Ski Prophet is still in the chat. Those of you who want to talk WNBA, let's break it down right now. Let's quickly look at market moves. We don't have a lot of time. I got to put a bow on this show. Let's move over. We're at sportsbookreview.com. We're hitting WNBA. Let's see what we're dealing with, spreads and totals. We have another situation where the Mystics are 10-point favorites. 10-point favorites against what's got to be a tired Aces squad. This is their third playoff game in 4 days. But let's start with Sparks Sun, and then I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking in the chat. Sparks Sun opening up at 1.5 point favorites. They're still there. Sparks total opens up at 161.5. They're now at 162. We've already heard Red Girl like in this full game over. Alyssa Thomas played spectacular basketball in that game one. Remember, this is a best of 5 series. 22 points, 10 boards, 5 and 4 assists. She was just all over the court. 5 steals too, I believe. 5 steals. Jasmine Thomas also added 19. They look good. This is a team that's never won the WNBA title. The last time they were in the league final was 2005, and they have this beautiful, sparkling 15-2 home record. Although they rarely covered. They rarely covered. Ski Prophet liking the Sun at the -1, and I get why he does. I get why he does like the Sun there. Raven in the Desert backing the Sparks. So we have, and look at Russell Gordy on the Sparks and the under. So Ski Prophet cleaned up 2 nights ago. He cashed on both of those games. And Ski right now liking the over in the Aces game and the Sun -1. But there he is going up against these great cappers in Raven in the Desert and Russell Gordy. I will copy and paste all of that right now and lock that in here. Okay, and Farsha Asami on the Aces and the over. I find it very difficult to back. The Aces here. I just feel like they have to be tired. I'd love to hear what our guy Ski Prophet thinks about that spot. Okay, so let's talk about that Aces game quickly right now here. So Mystics barely squeaked that game out. We were all on the over and we cashed. Aces have lost 9 straight playoff games. The Vegas looked like a team in rhythm early in that game. And then again late, there was that middle section where the Mystics started taking over. And Elena Della Don and Emma Meesman are looking good. It's about Cambridge and Asia Wilson to fight back. Meesman goes for 27, Della Don 24. Christy Tolliver back after missing 11 regular season games, the last 11 regular season games with a bone bruise, and she went for 8 points and 4 assists, and she's just going to be stronger in this spot. Rod Zwacki, let's see, he says, I'm taking both dogs moneyline WNBA today. Sparks moneyline and Aces moneyline. Wow, very, very interesting. Very interesting. Farsha Asami liking the Aces and the over. I find that a difficult team to back, but I do think we're going to get points again. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I don't know what move to make in this Sparks Sun game, and I didn't know last time. Russell Gordon saying Sparks definitely the play. What I will do is I will jump in this, and look at Nupal said that's why Ski's the best. Instantly jumps in the chat. I agree completely. Ski, it'd be great to have you on the Late Show. I will connect with you in the afternoon. Let's see, this over 176 and -108. Has there been any movement on this over in the Aces game? There's been none, but I think high scoring again. Ski Prophet says Aces look good once Liz settled down, especially on defense, but still hard to step in front of the Mystics. And Russell Gordy says Mystics play like men, going way over. All right, I'm going to take the over right now in that one. It cashed, and I'm going back to the well. Getting over 176. Oh, let's see if there's a 176 on the board. Quickly looking. We're going to put a bow on this. We're going to hammer this much harder on the Late Show. We're going to have a lot more time. Over 176.5 at minus 105. That's available 5 times. Over Vegas Aces over 176.5 at minus 105 at 5 times. Rafa, can you pop up that WNBA record? It's not good. 1-1 yesterday. It's just a lot of mediocrity in WNBA this year. And there it is. I'm going to make a move on it. There's Steelio saying Jags money line and over in Tulane. Jags money line and the over, and Tulane money line and the under right there. Farsha Sammy says, I don't know about Aces money line, but plus 10 looks good. You guys, thank you so much for being here, rocking with us. What a show. What a packed show. Thank you to our guests, Parlay Papi, Ian Cameron, and Teddy Covers. But most importantly, thank you to you guys. This is the chat that makes this show so special. Thank you for putting all your hard work and energy into us defeating the juice, which is what we have to do. Afternoon baseball popping off, and I'm only on one look. Just the Brewers -1 in the afternoon. That's the only spot I'm on. Let's get after it. Let's come back in the black. Most importantly, let's get it.
Leche, los bookmakers.